Hello and welcome to our spotlight interview of the week.
Better than expected, we got Lona's video working, so we get to see her lovely face.
Yes, and just a reminder, spotlight interviews are to talk and get to know the incredible humans who will be sharing a class with us this coming Sunday. So we get to know the incredible person that will be sharing their gifts and their purpose and what they love with the world. Feel free, please follow Lona on Instagram, supporting her incredible business, which we will dive into even more in this interview. Yes. Before we begin with the interview,
Excited about this part.
I did a poll. I've been doing Light Seers Tarot, and I've been doing polls for people, and I really wanted to share this one with Lona because she's an incredible person, and of course this was the poll today. And so this was with the intention of Lona. It's the Hanged Man, and I love this depiction of the Hanged Man. Super inspiring. Surrendering to the will of the cosmos, an intentional pause, reflection, letting go, embracing the new, realigning with your heart and purpose, new wisdom found, spiritual teachings, sacrifice, enlightenment. Flow with it. Divine wisdom spills forth in moments of deep flow. And the Hanged Man is offering you the chance to look at something from a completely different perspective. When you let go of things that got you stuck, you will make space for the new insights and vantages to shift into place. Open your heart to the bigger plan. I lean into my inner world of limitless miracles, surrendering to the divine will of the cosmos. Yay. So that was for you as we get started on this beautiful journey, and we are just very thankful to have you. And I'm ready. We had a little lunch interview, and it was awesome. And it was literally 10 minutes.
And powerful and moving. And
yes. So this is going to be incredible.
Lona, can we hear you? I guess I'm not sure. Is your mic on right now?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Oh, lovely.
Yes. Shall we do just a little introduction and then have you introduce yourself?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, and honestly, maybe even before that, I was gonna say Ellie last night, our friend, or not last night, but gave us this opportunity where we checked in and we're just honest about our like anxiety levels or how we were feeling, because this kind of feels like public speaking sometimes.
Yeah.
And for me, that was just so beneficial. So I'm just gonna go ahead and rate it and say I'm kind of back at like a 6.5 again, on a scale of 1 to 10 for my anxiety. Come up with whatever scale you would like to, Lona. But I just want to rate that, and then we'll breathe with that a couple times, do some tapping, and then come back and see if our anxiety's gone down for a second. Just to be honest with each other.
Yeah. So what would you rate it could be anxiety or nervousness or any feelings of whatever you're feeling on a scale?
Oh gosh. Well, if you would have asked me this question about 30 minutes ago, I would have been like at a 9.
Oh.
But I just got done meditating, so I'm like 4 or 5.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
And yes, absolutely. That's why I need to meditate every day, is because my nerves and anxiety is just like such a similar feeling experience in my body. That's something I was realizing today. I would say my nerves and excitement like consume me, and they almost feel the same. And I feel like I'm at a solid like 50%. I feel like I'm like here, but I'm also like just a little shaky, a little excited. I'm nervous.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just like take in maybe like 2 just deep breaths with that, and just prepare to share our light and be truthful and honest and know that we are enough.
Setting an intention for this interview and the people that you are going to so positively touch in their neck of the woods and inspiring them in their own purpose. And when you're ready, feel free to bring your hands to your heart like a butterfly and start tapping back and forth. Feel free for your butterfly to zone down, or if you're wanting it to take flight, you can start fluttering it a little bit faster. And then it will start to fly away. Lovely.
All right, I'm much more to 4. A 3 to 4 now, which is good.
I agree. Lovely.
Okay. Well then, let's just jump right in. This is the lovely Lona Mason, who I came to know only just very recently. Mary was the connection, so I think that maybe you should just kind of run with that.
Yes. So Lona is an incredible human who works at the same elementary school that I work at, and she goes above and beyond literally every single day. I walked in once, and my favorite interaction was she had puppets out and was doing this. She was just so involved with her student, and it just shows how she's able to connect, not just with kids, but with every human that she talks to. And that's why I was so excited that she was going to come on Flow AF and share her light with the world. And I'll let you explain more about yourself, but just from the short time I've known Lona, since August, I have just been constantly shown, her light has been shown and has really been a source of comfort and light in lots of different situations.
That's exactly what I was going to say. My first and best description of Lona as of current is that it is impossible not to recognize her light. It's just boom.
It is.
It's beautiful.
So now feel free to introduce yourself in whatever way you feel fit to our followers and the community.
Okay, well, I am Lona. And I've been kind of in the Kearney area in and out for quite a few years, so I'm pretty familiar with this community. I've been working with children. Oh my goodness. I'm going to feel really old when I say this, but it's been like, maybe 15 years.
Age is but a number and experience is so beautiful. That's incredible.
I think I like kids because I am kind of a silly person, and I like to tap into that often, especially when I'm really uncomfortable. So I don't know, being silly, and that's why I really love elementary kids the most, because they love my silliness and my goofy jokes, and I mean, all that, and they're just awesome, and I love them. And I've always been kind of a connective person to other human beings, I guess. So I don't know what else. I don't really like introductions. I never really know what to say. Like, do I, like, there's so much about me that I can't really just fit into
one layer of the onion.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you feel inclined, if you want to go into kind of what we talked about this afternoon and what you started in locally here in Kearney and what it started as and what it turned into.
Oh yeah, okay, that would work, because that's kind of what we're talking about. Like, that's how I ended up in this situation to begin with. I've been kind of a photographer, I guess, since I was 8 years old and got my first camera. And photography has always been kind of therapeutic process for me. Back then it was like just feet and noses and whatever. But now I am a little more skilled. And I kind of started doing it beyond just for myself back in 2017, which I feel like it's so much longer, but it really hasn't been that long since I started this. And I kind of just jumped in it broadly as a photographer. Like I will do all the things. And then the more
all of them. I understand
all of the things. And the more time I've spent doing it, the more I've felt like my passion has been honed. Like I don't really enjoy taking pictures of children. I don't know. I just don't.
They move so much. I
don't know. And sometimes they just won't smile no matter what you do, and you get this like stone face, and it's just so frustrating.
My nephew, and it's just drool. The whole thing is
just my gosh, or boogers, and not my favorite thing. But like, I started doing kind of what you would call boudoir, which, if you don't know what that means, it's basically like, for lack of a better term, sexy pictures of women or men or both, in a bedroom setting. So I kind of started doing that, but I used a little bit more of my own creative touch on it. So I don't just do that kind of thing, or I didn't do that in the beginning either. And then the more time I spent with these individuals and getting to know the why behind the reason why they want this experience, it just kind of started to blossom for me. And I'm like, yes, that is what I want to do. This, okay, fine, I'll take your engagement pictures, but I'd rather do this, Actually, engagement pictures are pretty fun, but but I'm such an emotional person that my connection with my camera and the person in front of my camera is a whole emotional experience. And I kind of started with the boudoir, and then I got people asking me, hey, I've really struggled with this issue for my whole life, and I just need to let it go. Like, how can we do something to make that kind of like captured in time? So we talk about it. We talk about what they want to get out of the experience, like what makes them feel good. Do they want to break something, or do they want to set something on fire? And so
how fun.
So, well, it's fun until the cops get called on you, and then it's like, oh, oops.
No, then you borrow the hat, make it part of the prop.
Yeah. But that's kind of how I started it. It was like using my like putting it all together, like having that artistic piece, that creative piece, but also that cathartic ritual is what I call it. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that's what I call it.
Absolutely is. Mm-hmm.
We certainly believe so.
Yeah. Love it.
It's powerful. And I find it so powerful because, as I've gone through college, I wanted to be a school psychologist, and I did that for a little while. So, and I've always been interested in psychology and therapy and and my own background with mental health challenges also was a factor. And I know that for me, having a process that really solidifies letting go or what have you is just powerful. And then to capture that on camera, to be able to look back at it whenever you feel like you need to remind yourself, I don't have words for it. It's just so awesome. And I get to do that for people.
That's beautiful. I want to dive a little deeper onto something that you said there about how you felt that the term boudoir was sort of limiting to describe what you were doing. And I love that, because, correct me if I'm wrong, or let me know if this statement seems like it fits you. The reason that boudoir is a limiting term is because sexiness is kind of limited to this idea of not empowerment, but like this very one-dimensional, like kind of male eye-dominated sort of view. And And I think that you do such a good job of pointing that out in your empowerment portion of the photography, that like sexiness has to be consensual, has to be empowering to the person whom you are viewing, who is letting you into this intimate portion of themselves. And you have a beautiful sticker that Mary shared with me that says to put on your mirror. Can you share about that sticker a little bit?
Yes, and I meant to bring it down with me and I forgot it upstairs. But and actually it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because I was reading your interview questions a little bit ago, and the song, one of the questions was about a song. And I told you I have like so many things all the time. But this particular song, I always come back to it because it is almost kind of like the mantra of what I do. And it's called Girl in the Mirror by BB Rexa. I think that's how you say her name. Not really sure. Never actually heard her name out loud. So, but anyway, the song is all about, like, one of the most profound lines in it is, I just want to be like the girl in the mirror. I want to be like me. And I'm gonna get emotional.
Oh no, that's beautiful. I'm getting chills.
But I can't talk when I start crying. I'm like, oh.
Calm it in, calm that out. I love it.
But like I've told you, I warned you, I'm very emotional. And when I talk about this stuff, I get emotional because it's a big deal for me. But yeah, so the sticker I have, it was kind of an idea that started out as a way to spread awareness of my brand, I guess, my business. And it says, warning, I can't remember it.
Oh, here, I've got it.
All right. There it is. Yes.
Warning.
So don't be.
Yeah. Reflections in this mirror may be distorted by socially constructed ideas of beauty. Don't be fooled. Yeah. You are enough. Yeah, I'm sorry. I
meant to bring it down. I was so prepared, and then one thing.
It's a ghost.
And when I tie that into boudoir, the thing that I don't like using that term is because of those restrictions, those social ideologies about what boudoir is. And when you say boudoir to a random person on the street, if they know what that word means, they're going to think that that means I have to get glammed up. I have to get my hair done. I have to cake on the makeup. I have to dress super sexy. I have to do this. I have to have the right body type.
But sexy their way.
Yes. Well, yeah. And you have to have the right body type. You have to be a certain size of person, or a certain, you have to have luscious locks, or perfect skin. I mean, there's just so many false ideas about what people think that means. And honestly, that is because photographers have projected that idea. And like, I've talked to women who have done these boudoir sessions, and they come in and they get their hair done and they get their makeup done, and they become someone else. They're not who they are. And my intention with my photography is I kind of change it to be more of an empowering experience. I don't want them to come in and feel like they have to be all makeuped up or do their hair. If they want to do that, that is awesome. Do it. But I don't want them to come in with this expectation that they have to be someone else in front of my camera, because I want them to be exactly who they are and see that person as I see them, and then go from there. So I use the term boudoir just because a lot of people are like, I want to make this book, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. But I use it loosely. And I usually gravitate. I mean, even if I have a client that comes to me wanting to do something special for, say, their boyfriend or whatever, I kind of put that on the back burner. I mean, I know that's their intention, but they're not going to be comfortable doing this if it's not for them.
Absolutely.
And you can see that it comes out. I mean, it shows up. So I try to gear it more towards their own personalities, things that they want to experience, things they want to get out of it emotionally. And I'm gonna pause a second because I need to go open my vent. I am freezing.
Yes, absolutely. How incredible. I know I've always, or I used to associate boudoir with like, it made me uncomfortable because I specifically was really uncomfortable with just like how petite like my chest was. I was like, I can never imagine doing this. Like it made me so uncomfortable. And then to see it in a light where it's like, no, it's not for others. It's for you to heal, you to grow. Like that total shift in mindset is changing women's lives and men's lives. But it's like, that's just incredible. Like yes, that's beautiful.
Also, like I just like to think of the damage, or don't like to think, but it reminds me of the damage that the mindset of I need to be somebody else for me to be presentable or for me to be good enough to give to somebody else, like how damaging that can be and why we've perpetuated that for so long.
Right, exactly. And then when you're talking about like like I think I'm gonna actually do this little activity in my class because you brought up your lack of confidence in your chest size. And I am telling you, I haven't had a single client walk through my door that doesn't have the first flaw on their mind. It is literally, I'm not even kidding, the first thing they tell me. They're like, oh, I really don't like this about myself. I really don't like this. And I don't, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to take that. I'm going to note it, but we're going to put it in our pocket. We're just going to forget about it for now and enjoy the moment because I want to like break this idea, and not just for women, but for men too, that you have to look a certain way to be valued. You have to have a certain color of hair or a certain size chest or, whatever. And I want people, like, maybe you don't have to love everything about your body. Maybe you don't super love your ankles or whatever, but there's a difference between berating yourself about it and just acknowledging that that's a difference in you, but it doesn't make you any less.
I love
and
that.
That's what I want people to see.
It doesn't make you any less. And I think that at least how I was raised was this judgmental that was surrounding me of comparing and seeing like, oh, you're less than because to make yourself feel better. But really, it just makes both of us feel like shit. So it's awful.
Nobody's ever fixed themselves by beating themselves into submission.
Not once.
No, really.
Not once.
Well, I feel like we kind of covered what song, book, quote, movie, or show has been on your mind, or what have you been thinking about lately. But if you have another one to share, we would love to hear that. And then can you kind of tell us why that's been on your mind?
I don't know. I've actually been in kind of like an empath overload mode the last week and a half. So I've really avoided a lot of things on my mind so that I can like recover and like get back into a good place. So I've just kind of been focusing on, I don't know, meditation, I guess, and reflecting on positive things about me, and the world around me, like trying to focus on good things rather than the things that are getting really heavy. So I don't really have, and sometimes I do have a song that I'm just like playing over and over again to process with, but I haven't really had that for a while. And books, I mean, I always read fantasy novels because I like magic and fairies and dragons and stuff. And that's, that's my favorite thing. So I kind of just read those. And I guess I did start working in this new book called, it's got naughty words in it. It's called, here, I'm going to see if I can put it up here.
I love it! Send as.
I'm a very sweary gal, so I thought it was very appropriate for me. And so sometimes I just kind of get wrapped up in my own head and I need an outlet. And this has been my go-to. And it's more of like a daily journal, but I kind of just flip through it, and wherever I end up is where I feel like I should be. So today I wrote an entry about things that pissed me off today.
Hey.
And then it said
entries. Are there any you can share? I'm curious.
Ooh.
What did you say? Can you say
that?
Are
there any you can share? I'm curious. That's fun.
Oh, well. I think I can. So, as well, you might not know, because I guess I didn't mention that, but I do gravitate towards working with kids that have behavioral and emotional challenges. So I work in a classroom specifically for those kids. They cannot handle being mainstreamed, and so they end up in this program, and we kind of like get them there, however long it takes. I have this particular student that can be wildly frustrating. And today he was wildly frustrating. And I was like ready to go the long haul. I was like, I'm going to stay here all night if I have to. And he is going to do this one tiny thing that he has been needing to do for the last 2 hours. It's so simple. And he just won't do it. And I'm just like, So then, I mean, I love our principal, and I'm not going to try to bash him or anything, but he came in, and the other side too is I think this kid responds better to men than he does women. So usually when I try the same strategy, he's like spitting venom at me, and it doesn't work. Plus, I'm just not very nice when they're being an asshole.
Kids who are being assholes. Like, you got to show them a little bit of like, no, like we have to love each other. Okay?
There's a difference between if he's losing it because he's losing it versus I just decided I'm not doing anything you asked me to do. So I'm just not going to be super sweet and, oh, baby, it's okay. I'm just not going to be that.
I spoiled that.
So he did that today, and he was going to miss the bus. And I was like, all right, fine. We'll miss the bus. Whatever. And then the principal came in, and he like got on the floor with him and hugged him. And then finally, after 2 hours, he did the one simple thing that he had to do. And I was just livid. And it was almost like someone else came in and undermined our process. And I was really, really frustrated with it. So I wrote about that in here.
Good. That's beautiful.
And then it says to cross that out and tell it to fuck off. Ooh. And then make another list of what made today great. So I wrote about you guys and our lunch and my co-teacher and those. That is what I need right now, is to like, because I feel like, especially as an empath, oh my goodness, it can get so heavy, and it's so easy to focus on all the negative things around us. And I try really hard to like pay attention to the things that aren't negative, but sometimes it becomes too cloudy and I have to be intentional about finding it, which is what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks.
That's a fantastic practice. And before we get into what brought you to meditation and journaling and understanding the fact that you're an empath, I want to do a brain break. And then when we come back, I want to talk about what religion and spiritual guidance you were raised with. So you can kind of meditate with that for a second while Mary leads.
Yay, our brain break. We're going to bring our hands to our heart, breathing in through our nose, filling our belly like a balloon. Thinking of some source of light today. Exhaling out our mouth. Starting nice and slow to create heat by rubbing your hands together, but being intentional on how much you can rub them. From tips of your fingers. And starting to pick up the pace, remembering the light inside of us that is consistently there. Wanting to give even if it's cloudy. And starting to go faster and faster, using our breath as the life force. And as fast as you can, and when you're on your next exhale, bring your hands apart about 1 inch. Feel the light you created and manipulate it. Noticing the edges are gentle, but the core is strong. Bringing that light to either your heart chakra, your solar plexus, or your sacral chakra, maybe your third eye. Where are you needing that warmth today? And if you need to stand up, stand up. Shake it out a little bit. Yeah. Oh no, it looks like your camera did the thing again.
Oh no, why?
Oh no. You're back. Yay.
Okay.
It was just
That's
about,
weird.
don't you love the universe?
Maybe my energy was just too much for it.
You literally like messed up the camera. That's
You guys, your light was impossible.
That was my light. It's very bright.
Yay.
Okay, well, I'm slacking. Here's the questions. Okay, so then, what spiritual guidance or religion were you raised with? Did you feel or know that it connected you to God or the universe or whatever synonym of God,
Divine
like
energy,
yes, spirit?
Wow.
The Granda.
That is, well, okay. I'll just start with how I was raised.
Beautiful.
I think Methodist.
I think Methodist.
I just know I went to church and hated it, and I think well, I kind of talked to Mary about this a little bit, and about as far from religion as someone could probably get, perhaps, you know, aside from like worshiping the opposite, perhaps. I was raised in, you know, as a church-going individual, went through all the hoops and whatever. And the older I got, the more I felt like it didn't align with, well, let me say that some of the people within my experiences didn't align with what I thought was right. For example, I was going to an E-Free church, I think it was, when I was in high school as a senior, and was scouting colleges, and I met this guy that was openly an atheist. And that was a long time ago. And I think a lot of people still hear that word and it's very charged negatively. And it's like a, sort of reaction. And that is the reaction I got from my church. These people that I had this community with told me I wasn't allowed to be friends with him because he didn't believe in God. And I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
it don't
why
not what Jesus said. No.
Why does his belief or lack in belief of what I believe determine whether or not I can show this human compassion or befriend him? And that's kind of when I started to question it. And then and I also had a rough childhood with a lot of abuse, and that was another kind of nail in the coffin for me eventually in turning away from religion, per se, because I didn't feel like, I guess in my mind, I thought, how could there possibly be a God if he allows these things to happen? Or she, or whatever. And so I kind of got away from it and got a bad taste in my mouth about it for many years. And I was very negative and hateful about it. And then as I started to work on my own self, I started to be able to open my heart up a little bit more and be more understanding of other people and their beliefs and not be so like, oh, that's stupid, and so now I guess I'm really kind of I don't know, an earthy hippie chick. So my God is the earth, and I kind of seek out nature for therapy, for escape, for reconnecting, and I just kind of follow a moral compass and the golden rule. And so I guess I don't really say I have a religion. I'm more of just a spiritual person, I guess. Make any sense at all?
We were sharing song lyrics. There's a Lakota rapper, Prolific the rapper, and one of his songs, Black Snakes, he goes, "If the earth is not your mother, are you from Mars?"
No kidding.
Oh, today I laid in the snow for my meditation.
Sure.
And I felt like the energy connecting again because it's been so cold out. I've just been like, I don't want to go outside yet.
Yep.
And so bundling up and laying in and actually breathing in the energy coming from the earth was so therapeutic today. And I felt like I wasn't as angry and I wasn't as just upset with things because it didn't, I was content inside, which allowed it to not relay, that outside. So yeah, Mother Earth, it is wild. So good. Your camera is doing it again. It has been going in and out a little bit, but it's totally fine if
that's how it is.
And you're back. Yay. Yeah, I don't know, but it's beautiful. Without your picture, your voice is beautiful as well. So
and you can see the movement behind you, which is kind of fun.
It's kind of trippy. A little like,
you might be able to fix the video resolution, but also don't worry about it too much.
It is 6:45 already, which is just.
Yeah, I set it to the bottom.
The important question.
It's at the bottom of the barrel already, ladies. I can't do anything else.
Oh my God. So I guess then we should just finally ask about what we're going to be learning about next week. And how it's going to be connecting us to our higher purpose.
I'm so excited. Okay. And let me touch on that first part first, connecting to the higher purpose, I feel like, at least for me, my ability to access that has been because I've worked so hard on quieting all the negative voices in my head. And that's a hard thing to do. And it's an ongoing process. Like I don't think I'll ever not have them. But they get a little bit quieter in time with intention and purposeful rituals or practices. And so since it's Valentine's Day, kind of playing on that idea of love, but for oneself, and showing oneself compassion, because a lot of people just don't do that. I mean, we wake up in the morning, we look in the mirror, and what is the first thought that comes to your head? If it is, oh my God, I hate my face today, or I'm so fat, or whatever, that's going to set a mood for your day, your heart, like what you're going to be able to allow in, and what you're going to put out there. And it's hard. You have to be, it's a practice. It took me, let's see, I'm 38. Ooh. So that's 18 years. It took me 18 years to get to the point that I am now. And I think that's also really important, because I was actually talking to some of my girlfriends the other day and feeling kind of guilty for where I'm at emotionally and spiritually, because I'm like in a really good place and not really struggling like they are anymore. And because I've been through so much already. And I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. And I wanted to, I think that sometimes when a person meets someone who's not at the same level as they are, they look at that and they see that it maybe is unattainable, because they're in a place where it just feels like too much. Like there's no way I'm going to fix this in a year or whatever. And we put these arbitrary timelines on processing our emotions and healing, that it kind of like trips us up. And I try to be very candid about my own personal journey, because I think it helps other people to see that it's not like, boom, all of a sudden I'm amazing. Like, oh, you don't have a magic wand? Well, let me borrow mine.
Really hard, okay?
But it's a journey and it's a process. And, as cliche as it sounds, you're going to climb up the mountain and then you're going to fall back down, maybe on the other side, or maybe you won't even get to the top to begin with. And that's okay, because everybody's journey is different and everybody has to get through their own shit to get to a healthy place in their mind and in their spirit.
I love that. Mind and spirit. We cannot forget about intellect and intuition. We have so often forgot, at least when I was raised around, that intuition was mumbo jumbo. And the only thing that has radically changed my life is realizing it's not.
Can I just share real quick this quote? Because I think that both of you guys.
Ooh.
I love quotes.
Love Trevor Noah too.
He says, If you're Native American and you pray to the wolves, you're a savage. If you're African and you pray to your ancestors, you're a primitive. But when white people pray to a guy who turns water into wine, well, that's just common sense.
Or who also like died and came back to life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The zombies are real, you guys.
Ourselves.
Oh, that's great. So just for everyone watching, what time on February 14th will work best for you to share this beautiful class?
Really, I'm flexible. Sunday is my day of rest, so anytime after 10 o'clock, I'm ready to rock and roll.
I love that. Would you rather do this during like an afternoon, or would you rather do it at night, like a 2 p.m.er or like a 6 p.m.er? What do you feel?
Definitely 2 p.m.er because I like sleep, and at 6 I'm like getting my kid ready to eat, and then the whole night just goes super
2
fast.
p.m. on February 14th, 2021 for our second Spotlight Sunday. And what is the title of this incredible class? What comes to you naturally? It doesn't have to be a polished title, but for our viewers and community to know.
Well, I think when I signed up, I came up with something, but I can't remember what I put on there. So it was say a journey towards self-love.
Yes. Journey towards self-love, which wildly has like no destination. It's just a continuous journey as we want, right? Like,
yes,
I love that idea.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, because there's not it's not a stopping point in anything.
Nope.
It's not a stopping point. It's a continuation. It's growing. I love that. Okay. Yay. Lovely. Well, as we close out this beautiful interview, thank you for sharing your light. And I think it's very evident to see, and with your experience too, I think is really beautiful. I know we felt called to start Flow AF to just have people from all different walks of life sharing their journey. And for someone who has gone through so much, yet is still just this radiant light energy source to
We're
all
moths
those
to your
around.
flame.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. That was good. That was good. Painted a picture of my brain. With that, is there anything that popped into your brain that you would like to share? It could be something that sparked an interest today. It could be a funny joke. It could be something a student said that made you LOL. Mine was that one of my students said, we got chicks today, and they said, I want to call my chick Pee-Pee.
Oh my God.
And she goes, I did, but, and I was like, that's fine. I don't. Anyway.
I have to talk about my sweet little kindergarten friend, Andy. He's kind of like my little, he's just adorable. And he's always wearing these big old clunky cowboy boots. And he calls me Miss Lona. Like, no one else calls me that, but he does. And I'm fine with it. But he'll come every time he sees me. He's like, oh my God, it's Lana. And he'll just clomp over to me. And he'll give me this big old hug. And he's got like this little raspy voice. So he's like, I'm Miss Lana. And I just love it so much. And I don't even know. He'll just like, I go to their lunch sometimes when my other student can handle it. And he'll see me and he'll wave at me and he'll have me come over. And I don't know if they got chickens or he's something about chickens. And he beckoned me over and he talks really, really fast. And he's like, Miss Lana, chickens. I'm like, that's great, Andy. Are you having a good day? I am. And he's like, he's my little buddy. I enjoy him. And now everyone in his class calls me Miss Lana.
I love that. That's too precious. Oh, thank you for sharing. And thank you so much for sharing with us next week. We are so, so excited. We will see you and we will see all of our live joiners and listeners right now next Sunday, February 14th at 2 p.m.
Yes. Yay. Have a great rest of your night. And thanks for doing this. We appreciate it.
You too. Yeah. You guys are awesome.